My central core belief is this whole thing about connecting people to possibility. And where that comes from is this notion that actually to move forward in life, to keep improving, to keep, growing yourself as a human being, it's about moving you forward, and possibility is where we should be focusing. I think you live life in two different camps. You can live it in the world of probability or possibility. Most people live in the life of probability. I guess at a personal level, I have a belief that deep inside each of us is a better version of ourselves. And I just see sometimes often in life that people walk around being the average version of themselves, not consciously, but they've just been conditioned to believe that that's all they will be, or that's as far as they can stretch themselves. It's like the Clark Kent Superman syndrome, you know? It's like you've got a superhero inside of you with all the powers and with all the ability that they have, but we've just chosen to put on this mild-mannered reporter type of persona to fit in to the world, because maybe we're a little bit afraid of what might happen if people really know what we're capable of. I had a number of things happen in my lifetime that knocked me off course, let's say. A curveball, as life would have thrown you. You know, I tragically lost my mum on my wedding day. A few years later, we lost twin babies. In between that, I had redundancy, failed businesses, you know, all sorts of things that happen to challenge who you are and what you believe about the world. And through that process, I guess, learning more about who I really was, you know, this inner self, this better version of me kind of came out. Like everybody else, you kind of grow up thinking you'll go to school, you'll get your dream job, and then you'll get married, have children, your kids will play with their grandparents and all that kind of stuff, and you kind of look ahead to that future, and then suddenly when that's poured out from underneath you, it gets you to question, well, what is life really about? You know, the stuff that you thought mattered maybe doesn't matter anymore. Maybe that's not what it's about. There's an empathy I can strike up with people that you can't get just from understanding the theory of what things should be like. I studied neurolinguistic programming, coaching, and all sorts of different things, collected stories, and all of that forms part of, I guess, my qualification. But I guess what qualifies me even more than that is, in the practice of coaching or speaking, seeing those little eyes light up in people, seeing those bulbs go off in people's heads, and having them come back and say, you know, you changed my life, or that, you know, how you got me to think about this was amazing, I've gone away and done this. And those are the things that kind of, I think, qualify me more than anything, than any piece of paper or course or methodology will ever do. I came from a corporate career. I was lucky enough to work for a phenomenal organisation called Egg, which in its day was cutting edge, not just in terms of its product and branding, but also in terms of its attitude to its corporate culture, to the way it treated people, to the way it led people. You know, there was a real Egg way, there was a DNA in that organisation that when it was in full force and its strongest, you really saw the best come out of people. And that's, I guess, where I really connected with this piece about, if it's possible in an organisation, it's going to be possible in your own personal life, that when the conditions are right and you're led in the right way, and you have the right level of self-awareness, that, you know, incredible things can be achieved. It's about really understanding the role of the leader. So it's not, what I do is not training. It's not your classical, this is how to be a better leader. What I do is understand the role of the leader, and the role of the leader is more about who you're being as opposed to what you do. How they behave, how they impact the people around them, how they articulate, how they engage, how they enroll people into what it is that they want to do, in a manner in which the employees, the team, the direct reports perform because they want to, not because they have to. Like, speaking is what I love to do. Speaking is my passion. You know, if I could do nothing else for the rest of my life, it would be standing up and speaking. And it's, I guess, there's a selfish and a non-selfish reason for it. The selfish reason for it is, I love the energy of being in front of an audience. I love the ebb and flow, the building of the relationship, the whole piece about just kind of sharing a message, an idea, a story, and watching these waves throughout the audience happen. So you suddenly see the penny drop. That's the bit for me. And I guess the counterpart of that is that I think it's a responsibility. You know, when you discover stuff in life, when you have knowledge and ideas that are evidently helping you, well, there's a responsibility about sharing that with people. And for me, you know, I speak about leadership, I speak about the art of possibility, I speak about relationships and networking, and kind of the core things that I talk about. You know, some people describe me as a motivational speaker. I prefer to describe myself as an inspirational speaker. Unfortunately, motivation is a short-lived piece where in the moment you can be entirely motivated. You know, like when people go to the gym, they get motivated in the month of January for about 3 sessions and then they give up. But if you're inspired and you're connected to this whole thing about possibility, and there's an idea or a thought or something that happens that really inspires you, well, that just keeps you going forever and a day.